afternoon, everybody. This is Dr. Patty Ann Tublin, and I am so excited that you're joining me today for this Facebook Live event on the very important topic of helping the partners of the healthcare workers who are dealing with the stress and anxiety of coronavirus. Since you're on this call, I would imagine that most of you are married or living with or partnered with either a physician or a nurse or a respiratory therapist or an EMT worker, or the whole myriad of healthcare professionals that are working tirelessly to keep us all safe. And people will acknowledge them and recognize them. But what about you? What about the person who deals with the fallout, if you will, of the professional that comes home exhausted, stressed, anxious, angry, and perhaps burned out? And if we're honest, the dirty little secret of healthcare today that you probably know that most people don't know is that the medical professionals before the coronavirus pandemic were already stressed, fatigued, burned out, and tired. And this just adds to that exhaustion and concern. The other dirty little secret that people don't realize health professionals are dealing with, but you do, is that many of them are still burdened with the financial debt of their professional training. And that is something that also weighs on people's minds, because anybody who has any money that's been invested in the stock market, in their 401k, in their retirement plan, has seen that shrivel up. So there's a lot that you, as the partner of a healthcare professional, are dealing with. And what I'd like to do today is to spend a couple of minutes just giving you some information that I think will be of value to you. And then what I'll be doing is I'm going to open up a line where you'll be able to ask me questions in real time, and I'll be able to answer them for you, okay? And if for some reason you can't get through, or if you're listening to this recording, you'll be able to reach out to me on Facebook as well. So here's the phone number I'd like all of you to write down for when I open up the line for live Q&A. And that number is, just write it down, even though we're not ready for it yet. Actually, you know what? We'll wait until we're ready for the call, and then I'll give you the information. So we already know that your partners are stressed out, and now we have this virus where they're working. We thought it would be impossible for them to work harder and longer and be more stressed, but in fact they are. And then they come home and they're exhausted, and perhaps they're even a little snippy. So what I'd like to do is to offer you some strategies to make sure that you are taking care of yourself and not just holding down the fort at home. Because if you have children, you're probably pulling your hair out of your head with the homeschooling. And if your children aren't in school, the younger they are, the more difficult it is to keep them inside. We all know that, okay? So then you also might be working from home. So you almost have a perfect storm here. So what I want to do is to make sure that you are taking care of yourself. And what I mean by that is I want to make sure that you do not neglect your own physical and emotional well-being, all right? And how do we do that? We do that by eating right as best as we can. You might not have the time to make gourmet meals, but you really do want to eat healthy protein, healthy carbs, good fats, so that you feel what you put into your body. And you really need to be operating on all cylinders now. So do the best you can to eat healthy. And then try to exercise as much as you can. If you weren't an exercise person before, I would encourage you to do just something, even if it's only walking up and down the stairs. And if you are an exercise person, you cannot get to your gym, There are so many online free classes and videos. I will tell you, I'm taking so many of them, or I'm trying them myself. I'm doing things different. Anything is better than nothing. We all know the health benefits. It's the release of the cortisone that increases the stress, and we will feel much better. So please exercise, and if you have children, let them do it with you, okay? It doesn't have to be perfect. You just want to try something. The other thing I really want you to remember to do is to try to get healthy sleep, all right? It is so important for your body on a cellular level to be able to rest, to recharge. When we sleep, our body gets rid of toxins so that when we wake up, we can start the day anew. Even if things haven't changed, chances are we will not wake up overnight for at least the next couple of weeks and see that there's a cure to the coronavirus. However, we will feel more equipped emotionally to deal with the stress that we're all under. So it's very, very important. The other thing I would like you to do is to try to remember to breathe properly. Right? When we go through life and we're stressed, we tend to hold our breath or we hyperventilate. And then we're not getting the full benefit of a cleansed breath, where you breathe in for 4 seconds, you hold that breath for 5 seconds, and then you let it go. And repeat that as often as possible. Okay, so I want to thank Mitch for being on the call, and Ray, thank you so much for being on the call. I believe you said your wife is a nurse, so I'm really, really happy to have you here. So try to breathe properly, and the other thing I would like you to do is to try to meditate. We know that there is science behind the benefits of meditating. It's not just woo-woo out there, funky stuff where there's no benefit. It really helps us, okay? And we want you to take care of yourself during this stressful time, because like they say, if you're in an airplane and the airplane starts to crash, you put your oxygen mask on first, because you cannot help anybody else if you can't breathe, okay? So this is what I want to remind you during these stressful times, where everybody around you is stressed out and you're doing the best that you can to take care of them. So self-care comes first. Very important. The other thing I want you to remember is your mindset. I've been speaking about this a lot to colleagues, to clients. I have a couple of oral surgeons I'm working with, physicians, and some hospital administrators, okay? And we really want to remember that you can only control what you can control. If you spend energy focusing on things that you can't control or worrying about things, your energy and focus will go to that. And that will not help you. That will be a distraction for you taking care of yourself and your family. And it will also increase your anxiety and stress you out more. So make sure you control what you can control, right? And keep this in perspective. I know we all feel like this is Armageddon. It's not. I do not want to minimize for 1 second that this is incredibly challenging, incredibly difficult times. Your partner that's right on the front lines, there's no denying that. They're living with it every day, and you are as well, because they live with you. But what I want you to remember is that humanity has been in this situation before. Hi, Mimi. I'm so glad to see you here. I believe Mimi is either a nurse or a respiratory therapist, so thank you for joining us. If we can go back through history very briefly, think about it. Europe had the bubonic plague. In 2000, we had Y2K. We had AIDS. We had SARS. We had MRSA. We had all these other illnesses in the past where at the time we thought it was the end of the world, and it wasn't. We survived. So you have to keep this in perspective And if you do that, it might help your partner because they're probably feeling like, wow, when is this going to end? What is different today, though, and I will acknowledge this is that there's a dizzying speed of change. And people in general are resistant to change. So when you have change happening at unbelievable speed, it does increase anxiety, but it doesn't mean it's the end of the world. And it's universal. Everything is being thrown up into the air. There's a huge reset, but it's a time to be realigned with what we value and what's important to us. Okay? The other thing that's different than in the past is we have social media. Now, social media can be awesome because we have opportunities like this, Facebook Live, where we can share information and help each other. Unfortunately, the 24/7 news cycle, though, feeds on fear-mongering and stressing us out, and it increases our anxiety. So that's what's different today. So what can you do about that? You can limit your exposure to what the media puts out there and only get your information from reliable sources like the CDC, okay? Do not buy into all the fear-mongering. So be aware of that. Control what you can control. The other thing I want to share with you that I think will be really helpful to you as the partner of a healthcare worker is get yourself a buddy. And what I mean by that is you can be feeling really alone now and really isolated in your challenge for supporting your partner, supporting your family, running your home, perhaps, doing your job. You have so many plates that you're juggling. Don't do it alone. Reach out to another partner of a healthcare provider and use each other as a sounding board, okay? This support will really go a long way because you will not feel like you're alone. And you can share with them, my partner's coming in, this is what he experienced. Do you have the same experience? And not feeling like you're the only one that's trying to hold down the fort, if you will go a long way in keeping you sane. Very important. So get a buddy and stay in touch with them at least once a day. Very important. The other thing I'd like you to do, and I'll just speak a couple of more minutes before I'll open up the line and take some questions, is I would like you to start a gratitude journal. During these times where it feels as if everything is falling apart and there are so many things that we can't control, the fact of the matter is we are still here, we are still alive, we still have people that love us and that we love, that we are taking care of and that want our help and support. So it is not all Armageddon and doom and gloom. So what you want to do is you want to find and focus on the things that you're grateful for and do it every day in the morning or at night. Have a routine and write 3 things that you're grateful for. Now, you might not be grateful that your partner comes home hungry, tired, and grumpy from work, but I bet you are grateful that they're coming home. Okay, so you can shift your mindset. And what's really important about this is, and I don't want to geek you guys out, and you probably know a lot more about neuroscience than I do, but the brain cannot tell the difference between a fact and an opinion. So it is very important that you feed it positive thoughts, positive feelings, positive opinions. And then positive things will come from that. Very, very important. So have a buddy and start a gratitude journal so it will help you set a mindset that's positive as opposed to doom and gloom. The other thing I want to make sure that you do is make sure that you take a break from all the negativity as well. Okay, I know I said that before, but it's absolutely worth repeating. And then another thing that is sort of kind of cute, but I really believe in this, is we now know that animals, particularly dogs, are very calming and very soothing to us. So if you have a pet, spend a lot of time engaging with that pet in a positive way. Pet it, hug it. I think we're allowed to hug animals, okay? Bring the pet more into your home, especially if you're feeling stressed. It will go a long way in lowering your cortisone level and also the cortisone level of the people around you. And then one more thing I'd like to say, and then I'm going to share with you the phone number that you can call in with some questions. And I really do want your questions. If your partner comes home and he's cranky or she's cranky, and you know they worked really hard all day, and you feel for them. However, you're not the enemy, and it feels like they're taking crap out on you. This is my suggestion. This is what I think would be helpful. If you say something to them and use your own words, okay? And I know this applies to every single person on this call. You can say to them, "Hun, I know you've had a hard day. I know you're stressed. I know you've been working long. However, I'm here to support you. It's not helping if you yell at me. So please speak to me in a way where I can support you and I can hear you." Now, you have to put this in your own words, okay? Everybody has their own trigger points, and you don't want to trigger your partner. They're already tired, they're already exhausted, they're already seeing death, right? It's right in their hands. And that's why we have so much respect. I love healthcare providers. We cannot literally live without them. But the fact of the matter is, they are only human too, okay? So let them know that you're there for them. If they come in and they're snappy, bring it to their attention. They're probably not even aware of it. And if that doesn't work, just say, "You know what? I know these are difficult times for you. I'm going to go into the other room, and then when you can speak to me in a way where I can hear you, and I do want to hear you, please find me, okay? I am here for you. I want to be able to help." So with that, I'm going to open up, I'm going to give you the phone number, open up the line, and please call in with any questions that you have, and I'll answer them. So the phone number is 712-775-7035. Again, it's 712-775-7035, and the code is 846347#. Again, 846347#. And I'll wait for you to call in with your questions, and I'll answer them. Okay, so I see somebody actually wrote in, what kind of stress is the fact people don't follow instructions by staying home and not going out? I'm not sure I'm understanding that. What kind of stressful is the fact that people don't... Oh, I think I understand what you're saying. Okay, that's Ray. Yes, people are feeling stressed because they're in isolation, and there is such a thing as too much family time together. I think everybody knows that at this point. So what I would suggest, if everybody's stressed out because everybody's home and they're not getting a break, first of all, if it's possible to go out and take a walk, if you live in the suburbs, I realize in the city that might not be possible, go ahead and do so. That will clear your head a little bit. But if you can't do that, then what I would suggest is you schedule times where people have some space of their own so that you're not constantly living with each other and on top of each other. So you need a break from each other, right? And that might help you have having some time away, okay? Because it is stressful to be on top of each other and living with each other 24/7 without any break. So I agree with you on that. The other thing is that you want to do is, if you can't isolate yourselves, then somebody can be, and I know we don't want people having too much screen time, but desperate times call for desperate measures. Let somebody be on their phone with their ear pods listening to maybe a podcast. Have the kids maybe watching a movie. Do activities where you're not all doing them together so that you're not constantly on top of each other and with each other, engaged in active living 24/7. All right? The other thing I would suggest, if you're a neat freak and your house is turning into looking messy, let it go. Be flexible. These things really don't matter now. They might matter to you normally, but these are not normal times. So you really have to pick your battles on what you're going to, throw the gauntlet down on, where you will not compromise. And right now, there shouldn't be too many things that you will not compromise with. All right, any other questions? I knew I convinced Jay to get, okay, so thank you, Robin. Robin said that her husband resisted getting a dog, and she knew there was a reason for it, so I hope it's okay. I'm going to share the fact that Robin's husband, Jay, is an awesome emergency room physician, and you can only imagine the stress that somebody in that field, in that specialty, is dealing with now. And I think it's great. So he can come home, and Manny probably comes running to him, and he can pet him and hug him, and it's all good. Okay, thank you. I can't read. I think do you need more of the Q&A information? Let me see. Okay, so let me give you the other information to call in, which is the phone number is 712-775-7035, 712-775-7035, and the code is 846347#. If you call in, I can pick up your question live. I'll just need you to mute your volume low, and then I can answer your question. So please, no question is too silly, too anything. We're here to help. We are all in this together. So dial in. Can't win if you're not in. Or feel free to comment if you don't want to call in. That's okay. I know some of this stuff might be new to some people there, but we're going to have so many more of these Facebook Live events. You'll be a pro before you know it. The next call, one of the next calls I'm going to have is helping the helpers. So right now, this call was focused on helping the people that are partnered with the caretakers that are taking care of everybody. The next call will be helping the caretakers, although I know it's going to be really hard to get their attention because they are swamped, but we're going to do the best we can. And what I'd like you to do is to comment here and let me know what other information you would find helpful so I can help you, because I really want to be able to help during this incredible time of change. So I think we are pretty much done for the day. I'm going to say goodbye, and we're going to keep this Facebook Live recording on here. And if you're not live now, you'll be able to write in questions on my Facebook page. So don't worry if you couldn't figure out how to get the call in. Oh, whoever was calling, please call again, I guess. Oh, Robin, that was you. Call again. I'm sorry. I have my staff here helping me, but they're writing in small letters and they know I'm blind, so I can't read it. So I need it like, the font 27. So call again, Robin, 712-775-7035, and the code 846347#. And Mimi, don't be too shy. Call. Ray, don't be too shy if you have a question. Please call in. Is Robin trying to get through? Here we are. I see Mimi. I see Mimi's telling me that Stephanie Clark has a question. Stephanie, you have the phone number you can call in? 712-775-7035, code 846347#. And I think we have a question coming in. Is this from Robin?
Stephanie, you have the phone number you can call in?
Hi, Robin.
They keep hanging up.
Oh, well. I think there's some technical difficulties here.
They keep hanging up.
All right, well, I am going to say goodbye. I have like 2 more minutes if Robin wants to call back. It's not rejecting you, Robin. You're hanging up. You have to press pound after the code. Try one more time. We'll try one more time for Robin and see if Stephanie can get her question in. And make sure that you mute your phone when we pick you up.
And their Facebook volume needs to be down. The Facebook volume.
And your Facebook volume needs to be down when you call in. All right, well, I'll give it 1 more minute. So in summary, what I want everyone to take away from this call is that you are as invaluable to this epidemic with your role as supporting the professionals that are on the front line, and we all appreciate you, even though people forget sometimes to thank you as much as they thank the healthcare professionals. So please take care of yourself first and foremost. You will not be able to take care of anybody else if you are exhausted mentally and physically. You know that, all right? Have a buddy system. Be grateful. Have a gratitude journal. Remember to breathe. Use the communication technique that I shared with you. Try to get as much sleep as you can. Eat right. Exercise if you can. Meditate. And we thank you so much for everything you're doing to keep everybody safe during this time of stress. Be well, everybody.